From the News Channel 8 studios, let's talk live with your hosts, Natasha Barrett and Melanie Hastings.
2014 brings a number of new trends in education. Education expert and president and founder of Educational Connections Tutoring, Ann Dolin, is back with us today. She's going to talk about some of the growing trends that we can see this year, both inside and outside the classroom. Good to see you. Happy New Year, Ann.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, Melanie.
So we're talking about what's new in the classroom. So what is new in 2014?
Well, one of the biggest trends in the classroom is called flipped classrooms. You know, in the traditional model, the teacher during the class would get up, lecture, explain the topic, and give homework. This way, it's flipped. So instead of getting homework, kids get the video of the lecture on YouTube, and they can replay it a couple times, they can rewind it. This way they really get a greater understanding. Instead of just that one-time lecture, they can really get in depth with the video. And then during the class, they do the homework. So the teacher is there to guide them. If they have any problems, she can help out.
What a great idea.
It's pretty cool. And
where is this being done?
Schools across the country.
Really?
It's popular here in D.C., especially a lot of the private schools are going in that direction. For example, my son, he's a sophomore, he's in a flipped chemistry class, and I was asking the teacher about it at parent conferences, and she said she used to have, at the end of the day, about 15 kids come in for after-school help. Now she has about 2.
Wow. Yeah. And you know, the problem before with having the lecture in class and then doing the homework at home was if you have a problem with your homework, sometimes you know the parents feel swamped too. Sometimes they can't help.
They can't.
And then what do you do? So this way, you know, you're learning on your own time, and then when you go and you're with the teachers, the teacher can help with the homework.
Right.
And any problems and questions you have, that can be worked out in the classroom. I love that. I bet the parents love it too.
They do. And in fact, a lot of parents say, you know, I'm starting to watch those videos with the kids. And I had a parent tell me the other day, you know, I forgot how to balance a chemical equation, and it all came back to me, and I kind of had fun. And so now we talk about it, and when my son has a test, I can help him study. So parents are really into it.
So is this, you're saying chemistry with your son. So are we talking high school level for these flipped classrooms?
High school and middle school, and mostly in math and science, not as much the language-based subjects like reading, writing, social studies.
Very good. What else is new in the classrooms?
Well, there's a lot of other things that are new. You know, I would say when it comes to homework, the pendulum has really swung. It used to be that we were giving a lot of homework, kind of like a badge of honor to our students, but recent research has come out showing that there are actually no benefits to giving elementary school kids homework, believe it or not. So a lot of counties are adopting the 10-minute per grade level policy for homework. So for example, a 3rd grader should never have more than 30 minutes of homework. So you can see as a parent a decreased level of homework as the years go on. Schools are adopting this more rigorous pattern to ensure that kids have a balanced life after school and not so much homework.
How do you feel as a parent about that?
You know, I think a little homework is actually a good thing. I think it teaches responsibility, that kids have to bring home the right materials, get it done, cross it off their to-do list, and turn it in. I've seen both extremes. You know, I've seen some kids in our tutoring practice the teachers have gone to one extreme and give hardly any homework, and they go on to middle school and they're really not that prepared. But I've seen other schools still stuck in that rut where they're giving a couple hours of homework to 4th graders, and that's not a good thing either.
No, it isn't. And you know, it is so nice to hear that kids might have a little time after school too. Maybe get some exercise in.
That would be nice.
Do a sport or something, because you know they're stuck in the classroom, sitting behind a desk all day. And you know, with all the obesity rate problems that we're seeing now, it's nice to see that they could get out and run around. My mother used to say, "Go outside and run around the block."
Come back when the street lights come on.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
So that's good.
Yeah. Also, electronic textbooks are very much a part of the community. In Fairfax County, there's been a directive for a few years to have all math and science textbooks online by the end of 2014. And even in DC, they have a similar policy that they're implementing. So in a couple of years, all of their textbooks will be online as well. We're seeing that the traditional, you know, regular hardcover book that kids always had are really going by the wayside, and now many of the subjects, especially math and science, are online.
And I would imagine some of the benefits, in addition to not having to lug around that huge textbook, that you could update the material in the books pretty easily if it's an online book.
Yes, it's true. And schools like it also because they're a lot less expensive. So you have fresher material, less cost. The problem is that sometimes kids don't always have internet access. And so schools are staying open after school for homework time so kids can utilize their network and still get their work done, even if they don't have access at home.
What percentage of students now have laptops at their disposal, and are we going to see this sort of across the board? And is it going to be something kindergartners will go to school with?
You know, it's interesting. A lot of kindergartners do use tablets, not laptops, but a lot of public schools have this thing called bring your own device, where you can bring it during the day if it's approved and take your notes on your laptop. Some schools say no laptops during the day, only in certain classes. Other schools are completely technology heavy. One of my sons goes to Flint Hill School, which is a one-to-one environment, which is becoming very popular, and that means one laptop for every one student. The old days are when you used to go to a lab, a computer lab, and work on things. It's not the case anymore. So at a lot of schools, you can either bring it, they'll supply it for you, and if they don't have that and already instilled, they're going in that direction.
What a wonderful tool for all the students to have. Now, what can parents do in their own time, in their free time, to help their students continue learning?
Well, there's a lot of emphasis on game-based learning that's very popular these days. So it used to be, if as a parent you wanted to help your child, for example, learn math facts, you'd print out a worksheet or make up a worksheet for your student. Now there are so many really neat apps and websites that make learning easier for kids, and they're far more likely to go digital than a worksheet these days.
Are they fun enough to keep the kids engaged?
They are. Oh my gosh, Melanie, they're awesome. A lot of these sites are really engaging for kids. So for example, a lot of times when you have a child who has to learn spelling words, the old way used to be, all right, I'm going to dictate these words to you and write them down. Nowadays, kids go to an app or a website called Spelling City, and they practice their spelling words that way. They play games. For middle and high school students, one very popular website to teach financial skills, like personal financial literacy, and a lot of parents are interested in that because they'll say, my child doesn't have any idea how to budget money, is called iGeneration. And this website is really neat. Kids go on 15 missions, futuristic missions, where they compete against other kids their age to help people in financial distress.
Wow. So many new things coming down the educational ladder. Thanks so much for sharing them with us. And Dolin, education expert. Have a good new year.
You too.
All right, coming up, we're going to have more on Washington, D.C.'s annual antique show coming up after the break. Stick around.